Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. So this is the sixth session of the Rains Retreat 2025. And this theme today is right effort, right energy, which is the sixth of the factors, I think. Yes, six of the eight, the Eightfold Path. And for those who have reflected upon effort and energy, you probably realize that this is still very much involved with the whole principle of karma and vipaka. If we want to act properly, we need some energy. So action and energy go together. And the way the Buddha explains it, if you understand the right effort, the way the Buddha explains energy or effort is very ethical regarding the skillful and unskillful actions we do. So you can say one hand the principle of causality of kamma vipaka, action and result, kind of goes through the whole of the Buddha's teachings. That was what defined the Buddha right from the very beginning of right view, having the right view of the effectiveness of action. And it was very, significant because this was a particular emphasis the Buddha gave within the context of philosophy, if you like, world views. There was the dominant view was that there was some supreme authority, supreme power. So if you believe in that, it kind of saps your energy. It's the will of God. It's, I'm in the hands of God, so what can I do? What can I do? There are some who believe that, of course, everything is just accidental. When I was a young student, I also went through these different phases, so also I thought, it just all seems to be very accidental. Why did this happen to me? Others believe that everything was already predetermined. When I first came across the teaching of kamma or karma in Sanskrit, I understood it in the sense of determination. You're the result of all your previous actions. If you believe that, nothing you can do either. You're a slave of your previous actions, which most of them I can't even remember. So I'm a slave of what I don't even remember, But the Buddha said, no. You can make a change. You can do something. It does have an effect, but you have to understand the principle. You have to understand what karma is. Action. It means action. And then the result is an associated result. The result depends upon two things. One, the intensity of the action, and one, the quality of the action. And then you can say the intensity also includes two things. One is the strength, and one is the duration. If you think of something like anger, for example, you're different kinds of anger, right? Is your aversion, is it irritation? Is it dislike? Is it hatred? Is it rage? Huh? Rage is much more powerful and much more intensity to it than irritation, right? But maybe your irritation is long-lasting, through your whole life, where your rage just comes and goes. So, if you have long-term irritation, it has an effect as powerful as short-term rage. So this is where energy comes in, how much energy we put into our actions, and in the right way, you see. So when the Buddha was teaching, a long teaching career of 45 years, he approached the theme of spiritual awakening from different angles. Depending upon who he's talking to, and maybe at different times he felt inspired in certain ways. And all these different ways that he approached it, usually in categories. It was very easy for people to remember numbers. The 5 spiritual powers, the 5 groups of grasping, the 5 hindrances, etc. So these various spiritual qualities the Buddha emphasized over the course of his life. The 7 different categories were all collected, and they called them the Bodhipakkhiya Dhammas. 37 aids to awakening, 37 groups, 37 qualities in 7 groups. Fortunately, there's not 37 qualities, only 14. And we're only covering 8 during this time. So you got a few more to go. But of all those 37, energy is mentioned the most. 9 times out of 37, Buddha mentions energy as a spiritual quality. The second one, most common one, is mindfulness. The third one is wisdom. Then collectedness, and then faith. These are the ones that these you can say they're of prime importance. The Buddha referred to them again and again and again in different contexts. The Eightfold Path, factors of awakening, these 5, energy, mindfulness, wisdom, collectedness, faith. These are the 5 spiritual powers. 5 powers, if you develop them, they're indriya until they become powers. But energy was tops the list. But of course, I'm sure many of us know people who are energetic, but where do they put their energy? Sometimes it's not in a very good place. There's energetic soldiers going out, killing people. There's energetic doctors helping people. Where does the energy go? So the Buddha was very emphatic. Energy is very important, but also where you put it, how you use it, especially in the context of kamma. You're going to get, your energy is going to give you results, either positive or negative. Put your energy in the wrong place, you're going to get negative results of it. Put it in the right place, you get positive results. When I was a student, I remember thinking about this, what do I do with my life? Should I become an engineer? If I want to become an engineer, I got to devote all this energy to becoming an engineer, to build bridges or houses or roads or something or other, And they remembered, yes, but they're all going to fall down. Okay, they'll help people for a while getting your car across a river, but they're going to fall down. So what's more valuable? Put my energy into spiritual practice. Enlightenment does not fall down. Enlightenment does not deconstruct. Enlightenment does not pass away. So if I'm going to put my energy into something, better to put it in something which is going to be there for a long time, something like enlightenment. Of course, I didn't realize that it's more difficult than building bridges. It's easier to build a bridge than get enlightened, but I was young and naive, so I didn't think about that part. I thought, not too far away, just like study engineering for 4 years to get a degree. Well, enlightenment now, I've been working on it for 50 years, and I don't know if I've got a bachelor or not yet. Maybe you can say, well, maybe a bachelor degree in enlightenment, maybe. So I'm giving talks to you. I don't think master yet, though, or a PhD, a doctor of enlightenment. Is there such a thing? No. But anyway, the Buddha is giving us these examples now, like, with energy, for example, and whether we realize it or not. This is based on kamma again, and the Buddha said kamma is will, how we direct our energy. So you see, when the very beginning of when Buddha explains it, one puts forth, one generates desire, right? Chanda, one generates desire. And this is, for some people, they've heard that maybe Like desire seems to get a very bad press in Buddhism. But desire is just a neutral term. Depends what you put your desire into. You know, like the unskillful desire is kama chanda, desire for sensuality. Positive desire is as the four bases of psychic power. Put your energy into positive things. For example, you can say Dhamma chanda. You have desire for Dhamma. So I was just contemplating myself a few days ago when I thought of this. You know, right now, you know, where's the majority of your desire right now? Do you know where that is? Where your desire is? Your desire in Kama? Is it? Or is your desire in Dhamma chanda? Contemplate it. Think about it. Not, yeah. Well, today you're in the monastery, so Kama is out of it. You know, sensuality is out of the picture, right?
What is Kama? Don't have to be
Sensuality.
non-sexuality. Can be anything that like beauty.
To do with the six senses. Yeah, the sixth sense realm. You know, beautiful sights, sounds, smells, taste, touch, thought. Yeah. You know, and we you know, if you contemplate it, you meditate for a while, you realize, you know, the Buddha recognized they do gratify pleasant sights. A very delicious meal today, but in the evening it's gone, right? The danger is it doesn't last. It passes away, and you got to try again. You know, so tomorrow, Tom will be trying to replicate your beautiful, delicious meal tomorrow, right? Maybe he'll just be eating your leftovers. I don't know. but I don't know if he can cook 20 dishes like today. So desire, sometimes people have heard that desire is the cause of suffering. But it's not desire, it's craving is the cause of suffering, right? Tanha, craving, not just desire. Tanha is really compulsive desire. It's overwhelming, it takes you over. Where desire still is quite neutral. Depends where you can put it now. Yeah, so in this, referring to the right effort, the Buddha says, try and generate, you know, this desire now for skillful actions. Skillful actions. You generate that desire for that way. Yeah? Create your will that way. It's same as I mentioned about intentionality, aspiration. So you generate desire. One makes an effort. One arouses energy, virya. One applies the mind, and one strives. So it's that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways to generate energy. Striving, applying your mind to it, making an effort. There's like, looks like there's sort of like a gradation here, right? There's a desire for it. You make an effort. You arouse energy. You apply your mind to it. Focus on it. And then you strive. It means keep going. Keep going with it. Continue with it. So this is the different ways to generate energy, and the purpose of the energy is towards, you know, you can say preventing the arising of unskillful qualities or actions. The second one is to abandon. To prevent them arising in future, unskillful things. We know what the unskillful is, right? From last week, right? Greed, aversion, delusion, you know, breaking the wrong speech, wrong action, wrong livelihood, unskillful. So that's in the future. And then to abandon what's already, you know, I guess people, first of all, they get some sense of, you know, moral sense, moral conscience. But okay, right. I understand that. I won't do anything unskillful in the future. But we still have a backlog. Huh? So some of us, I won't accuse anybody, but some of us have a backlog. So then we have to learn to abandon or give up those unskillful thoughts, unskillful habits. If you look at the precepts, you realize, oh, right, I've been engaging in what we mentioned today, frivolous thoughts, frivolous speech. That's become a habit maybe. Or I've been engaged in harsh speech. Or, lying. Maybe you can say lying is not always an obvious lie. Maybe it's just stretching the truth somewhat. Okay, I'll be a little bit more careful of that. And try and change those habits of mind. Then there is, the second part of it is developing the skillful now. Developing skillful qualities. And then there is the maintaining of those skillful qualities, because we can develop them, we can plant the seeds of skillful speech, action, livelihood, but if we don't continue with it, don't maintain them, could easily slip away too. Some people, they make their adhitthana, their determination, on the like the Uposatha day or something. Yes, I will keep the 5 precepts or 8 precepts. Then the next day, okay, maybe only 7 the next day. Then 6, 5, 4. Back to the what? To reaffirm them again. So the way to actually avoid, to prevent the arising of future unskillful actions, the most effective way, or at least the most immediate way, is to practice sense restraint, or guarding the doors of the senses. That is to put mindfulness at the doors of the senses. What you see, hear, smell, taste, touch. If you put your attention there, maybe just try one sense at a time. Maybe each day of the week, choose a sense to focus on. What you're seeing, when you're looking at something, go through a day, you're being very careful of what you see and how you relate to what you see. Like if you say, mention that if we observe things in a way that brings up beauty, you say if you're looking at something and it appears beautiful, attractive, subha, then it can lead to greed, lead to lust. Okay? But it's not everything. Like I was just observing these flowers. Now the wattles are out now, see? And they're very beautiful, aren't they? Yeah. But do they arouse greed? I don't know, maybe you want to take one home with you, do you? But we've got so many wattles here, they just get in the way, actually. I just came down from the Sangha house this morning and walking through all the wattles that are falling over. Bap, 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 bap. I had wattle all over my jacket and my hat. So they weren't so beautiful this morning. But then just going past one part over there, and it was farther away from the track, but it was all yellow. The whole patch of forest is all yellow with the wattles. I had to stop and admire it. But no greed. And then pleasant sounds, for example. There are pleasant sounds, and in some contexts, the pleasant sound can be very relaxing. If you hear some of the bird sounds, only some of them in Australia, some of the birds are very, 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 very peaceful, yeah? But some are very irritating, right? The cockatoos, I can't say the cockatoos are very pleasant sound. And maybe I've noticed sometimes they do arouse a little bit of irritation sometimes. But I just got to be careful not to go there too. No, they don't stay forever anyway. They don't live here, fortunately. I know we went to one monastery a while ago, and not my kuti, but the other monk's kuti, where he was staying. They had cockatoos just down the hill. So I said one morning, well, is it very peaceful in your kuti? He said, no. It was way out. It was quite quiet away from the sala, the kitchen. But the cockatoos there were very annoying all day long. So it was a beautiful kuti right overlooking a cliff over a big valley, but the noise was not very conducive to meditation. It was conducive to irritation. so, and sometimes, they say, you try and should meditate, learn to meditate in all kinds of situations, but sometimes, some places, like traffic noise sometimes can be really irritating, hard to relax, That if you look at these different sense impressions and try to observe, just what the effect is. So the Buddha said the putting a guard at the senses so that, these unskillful states of mind don't overwhelm you. You aren't aware of it. Sometimes it just creeps up on you. You have this irritation. You wonder why I'm irritated. Aha, cockatoos, that's why. It's not one of my, deep ingrained defilements. It's just a passing cockatoo makes me irritated. Yeah, okay, right. Just be careful, don't go there, don't make it a habit. Yeah. Then there's sights, sounds, smells, taste, touch, and of course thought. That's a really difficult one because you got to be really careful what you're thinking. As I mentioned, you sow a thought, you reap an action. Like some people's irritation gets motivated into an action of violence. If you aren't aware of it, and if sometimes it is that there is this irritation in the background, and if you can't, observe it, you can't deal with it properly, wisely, then it can become going to build up. The pressure builds up. Then it'll explode sometimes, even in a situation that doesn't really warrant it. People who have post-traumatic stress syndrome, they have a lot of anger, a lot of, frustration, irritation, maybe they can't sleep at night, but then it starts to overflow. And then the next symptom that's when they usually have to get hospitalized, when they start blowing up and having rages and getting very angry, and especially with their families or people at work, then they need to go and, you better go and see a psychiatrist or somebody, a therapist. But it's not due to that person. It's due to their unresolved irritation. But they haven't been able to deal with it skillfully, so it builds up and then overflows. So the way to abandon unskillful actions, is to be aware of your thoughts. So when you notice, for example, like irritation building up, be careful. Now we should know ways to deal with it skillfully. So I'll deal with this in more detail next time with the hindrances. We have talk about the 5 hindrances, for example, how to deal with aversion, for example. And we know already, most of us, the most common way to deal with aversion is metta practice, friendliness, developing friendliness meditation to help cool down those negative energies. Friendliness is a positive energy, so cooling down the negative energies. But there are other ways to deal with also unskillful thoughts. Greed, aversion, delusion, or the 5 hindrances. The Buddha says to develop for the development of skillful things, besides the Eightfold Path, the Buddha usually recommends the factors of awakening. The factors of awakening? 7 factors, Bojjhanga, 7 factors of awakening, mindfulness, investigation of Dhamma, energy, joy, piti, rapture, joy, and then tranquility, equanimity, collectedness. Come to them also next time. I talk about mindfulness because those are a category of the Dhammas to be contemplated. Developing the factors of awakening, trying to put away the hindrances, 5 hindrances. Then the way to maintain skillful things, skillful thoughts, skillful actions, is to be able to have a reliable meditation object. Like I mentioned, if you notice irritation arising frequently as a habit or a common symptom of your mind, of your reactions to life, then meditation object is metta bhavana. The trouble is that, many times when these emotions get really powerful, Like when you have anger in your mind, it's hard to stop and think, clearly. What's the way to deal with this? So, but if you developed metta bhavana already, you already have some proficiency. Just like going up the hill here. Yesterday was walking day. Well, for some of us, we walked. And then I went out. The car was going out, so I went out the road and walked back again. And I was very careful not to go too far. But it was. It's only about 5 kilometers, but I thought, gee, at my age, only 5 kilometers? And most of it was downhill, too. So I realized I have to get in better shape. So, gotta make sure I get some exercise so that I'm a better constitution for a long walk, you see. I did think about going on the long walk, the 16-kilometer one, because he was driving out to Wiseman's Ferry. So I thought, I can walk back from there. Yeah, right. I'll get halfway and have to camp out overnight. I'll be getting a call to pick me up. But you can't pick me up on the old Great North Road. Only bicycles. So if one has developed already a certain degree of proficiency, for example, just being able to develop some degree of focusing on the breathing. When you're overcome by unskillful thoughts, and your mind is dwelling in the unskillful, you can bring your mind back to the breathing at least. The breathing is it's a neutral point. Calm your mind down, relax, calm the mind down, break outside the usual habit patterns of reactiveness. But a lot of people, they get what some psychologists, psychiatrists refer to, or therapists to, you get emotionally hijacked. The emotions are so strong, you get hijacked, and your anger just overwhelms you, and then people say, I don't know what took me over. What happened to me? They just become really angry or been in a rage, a ferocious rage, and then what happened? I didn't even know it. Lost all, like that, like they were drunk or something. They just lost all perspective. But if you have the breathing there, it's like I would say, throw me a breath, throw me a life breath. It's like throwing a life raft. Take a deep breath. Right. Calm breathing. And then if you can hold on to it, if you have an anchor like that, then emotions can still be raging away, but you're not focusing on it, not encouraging it, not energizing it, not feeding it again. You break the feedback loop, and you're back to calm again. Okay, you haven't really been able maybe to understand where that emotion came from or the cause of it yet, but at least you're calm and not compounding it, making it stronger, and making this habit stronger and stronger. So just having that as an anchor, a point of reference, then it helps us to maintain skillful states of mind. Calmness prevents us from compounding the unskillfulness then. So being able to have a certain, meditation object one can rely upon. And then the basic ones, focusing on the breathing, metta bhavana, subha kamatan, and it can be even, we can begin to, by developing more meditation objects, we can specialize what is more suitable for us, our particular temperament. So this is the Buddha's emphasis, to develop energy, but in the right way, for the increase of skillfulness, skillful, say, speech, action, and thought. The actions, the kamma is in body, speech, and mind. Action, speech, and the thoughts too, and then to decrease the unskillful. You can see about, trying to develop these, you have to understand first of all the principles, skillfulness, unskillfulness, and we get a guideline from last time, right speech, right action, right livelihood. And when it comes to actually working with the mind, this is now the next part of it. We're doing the section on meditation now. Right energy, right mindfulness, right collectedness. So next time I'll explain more about mindfulness, especially with regard to being aware of the feelings and states of mind. And then the Dhammas. The Dhammas are, you can say, three of them, well, two of them are developing the factors of awakening, and then trying to lessen the hindrances, the 5 hindrances. So this becomes a part we call developing the mind now. So ready for the real refinement here, getting closer and closer. I say, the generosity is a good practice, good foundation. Morality is a good foundation. When we come to meditation practice, say we're on the doorstep of awakening, ready to knock on the door of enlightenment. So keep ready, keep ready. Ready to knock on the door of enlightenment. Where's the drum roll now? Okay. So next week will be on mindfulness, and then another one will be on right collectedness or samadhi, and then liberation. Yes, yeah, number 9. Well, I can't guarantee it, but I'll talk about it. So okay. So any questions? Any question for you? You know all these. You know these terms, do you? You all know them in Thai.
We talk about feeling and motion. Sometimes, like if we see the feeling, the motion coming, and then you can intention to direct it, go the right way. So sometimes it works in that times, but that motion sometimes it come back. So that's because the intention not strong enough to get overcome it. And another way is you can look at it when the motion coming out, and I look at it, I can see it, but in that way it will be permanent overcome, or it's the same first step, it will come back sometime again.
Yeah. Well, like I say, there are different intensities, different degrees, even different kinds of these, just general things like emotion.
Yeah.
There's maybe you can observe the irritation, all right. But what about the rage?
Yeah.
Rage, very, very powerful. If you have a memory of somebody, and it's just really overpowering, go back to the breathing again, back to the breathing. You can say on one hand that maybe there's not enough mindfulness, not enough collectedness, not enough, you can say, stability in your mind. But what is important is that be able to observe what's the cause of it. Everything comes from a condition, the cause, the Buddha is saying. Some things like some irritation, I think some of these minor things, minor experiences, they don't have a lot of karmic power to them, see? So sometimes just observing them, they'll fade away. But if it comes back again and again, I would say it has very deeper roots. So you have to go back and be able to observe, what's behind that. Like there's deeper roots to it, And then maybe if the mindfulness is strong enough, collectedness is stable enough, you can go back to the deeper roots of it without reacting to it. It's a bit like And when some people have like trauma, very serious traumatic experiences, just talking about it isn't enough. And then maybe we can even stir it up, make it worse. But if you can get behind it, what's the thought before this emotion arose? What's the feeling before it? What's the physical sensation before it?
And you said, like, we go back and look at the root. So we're waiting for it to come back, or we encourage it come out.
Well, it depends on the stability of your mind. If you're, this is where I come into, we're talking about what's the difference or the balance of calm and insight. Samatha vipassana. Ajahn Chah said very simply, the deeper the calm, the deeper the insight. See? But if the mind is not very calm, and you try to look, especially at some of these deeply entrenched emotions, your mind's not stable enough. Try to look at them and you get overwhelmed by them. So they go back to the breathing again, back to the breathing, establish more calmness, more collectedness, more stability in the mind. And maybe you can look again. There's a danger. I'll probably cover this later about samadhi, but there's a danger that some people, they are good at samadhi, and then they just ride in the samadhi and don't look at the emotions. You see, we don't look at the emotions. No emotions. Everything is equanimity, calm, 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 and they just bliss out. The trouble is, it's only temporary. Some people have, I think they fool themselves because they have good calmness of mind, or even they're attached to equanimity or calm, and then they seem to have no problems. I don't know how many times when I was in Thailand and the mind calmed down, being in the forest, talking to nobody, no disturbance. Mind's so peaceful. Look. No greed, no aversion, no delusion. It's nibbana. Yeah, I like it. Oops, greed. Oops. Then somebody, then the mosquito comes along and aversion. Oops, it didn't last very long. Momentary enlightenment. But each person at each situation calls for different degree of collectedness and also clarity, because sometimes you try to observe some of this, the cause of the emotional upset or strong emotion, and you can't see it. Your mind just isn't clear enough, isn't stable enough, it isn't clear enough to see it. It just comes up again and again and again. It's like you're kind of blocked. The mind's blocking you from really finding out. So you got to, that way back to the breathing again, back to trying to develop more mindfulness, and then developing mindfulness, being able to be more clear about what you're observing. We have bodily sensation, we have feeling, states of mind. Look at it from different angles, you see. Sometimes you try to observe these emotions in your mind, and it's very, very cloudy, because the mind's very quick, you see. But look in the body. Aha, why is there this tension in my abdomen, Aha, there's a symptom. It's a physical representation of that emotion, but it's more stable in the body. Look at it in the mind, and your mind maybe is making up excuses. My mind tries to find a reason for it. So I just go very quickly into rationalizing it, But I go to the body and clunk. The body is not so clever, which is good. It doesn't rationalize so much. It just expresses itself, Once you can become aware of it. Yeah. But so many of us are, say, disembodied these days. We don't know the body, so we stay in our brain trying to figure it out, and it just goes around in loops, Because really, a lot of this stuff, the emotions, eventually they go back to yourself again. You're the one who created this anger, You're the one who created this greed. But I don't want to see that because it's too embarrassing. So you just kind of rationalize it, like getting angry at somebody, rather than recognize that it's in you. The anger rose in here, Oh, you blame them. They made me angry. You don't say, I made myself angry because I didn't agree with what they said. You don't say that. They made me angry because I don't want to accept it myself. You're at fault.
I accept myself that I am the bad one.
Ooh.
But I still can't. I accept it. Yeah, it's my fault. I'm a bad guy. No, I knew it. I see it. I'm not saying just because I want to be good.
Yeah.
I see it. Yeah. But I still can't get.
Yeah, but I mean, you're still, you see, it's still you. You see. Now you just rationalize it. I'm the bad guy. It's not you. It's not you at all. It just processes that went on. Your upbringing, your different relationship, your interaction with the world. It's not you. So you can't even get away with saying I'm the bad guy, because there's no you there to be bad. There's just processes going on. You see. So you got to get beyond the I to the processes involved in it. The hurt, and the irritation, and the
Good, not good enough to not to use I and me and you. I'm still like me, you.
Yeah. But you just try and look at the processes now, without bringing the I into it. There is physical sensation. There is feeling. What's the feeling? Most of these feelings, if you look at them really carefully, you see they aren't really me. When the eye contacts an object, it sees certain objects and it feels there's a pleasant feeling. Oh, sun shining. Pleasant feeling. Just a minute ago it was all gray. Unpleasant feeling. Just the eye contacts that, and it just happens. It's not I'm feeling that. The feeling just is, and then I say, oh, I notice, oh, the sun is shining, oh, I'm feeling happy. Yeah. But before the feeling was there first, then I possess it. Yeah. Then the sunshine goes away, and then unpleasant. I say, I like to own the pleasant feeling, but not the unpleasant one. Thank you. That unpleasant one is just due to the clouds, but the pleasant one is mine. The sanya. A lot of the sanya is just our upbringing, our habits, our education. So you see certain things, like in the newspaper, you read certain things, you don't even recognize it sometimes, but you see certain things and it's very negative. I don't know if I should mention this story. It's not very politically correct, but I was on a train one time in France, and I got on a train to go back to Switzerland. And then when I was sitting there, this Muslim man got on that train in his full Muslim gear, you see, with his long robes and all this, and sat down. And he goes, I looked at him kind of funny. He looked at me kind of funny. But then we rode along for a while, and then he gets up to leave the train. I immediately looked as he left the bomb behind, And I just think, that is so racist. I thought, what? Just automatic reaction, He got all his... And then I thought, oh, that's really being racist. I mean, he's just an ordinary guy, And then the irony of the whole thing was, I was on a train going to Rome, in Italy, and I had to wait for a while before the train left. So I just got my seat. I put my bowl there, you see, my round bowl on the seat. Then I walked outside to stretch me, to walk around a bit before sitting on the train for 5 hours, you see. And then I noticed a policeman coming, That's a bit funny. What's a policeman coming here for? There's a little bit of Italian speaking, and then I thought, wait a minute. I got on the train and they're looking at my bowl. There's somebody left this bomb on the seat, you know. So funny. And he goes, no, that's mine, that's mine, that's my bowl, not a bomb. You know? Yes. So, but it was vipaka, I guess. You know. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yeah. But I mean, we have to try and, you know, a lot of this stuff starts off when we're little children, you see. A lot of the patterns are patterns. We don't even have a sense of self. You know, they say the young child till about 5 years of age doesn't have a sense of a self. All it is just, you know, just kind of hormones and, you know, and mental activity just going on, you see. But then but that's when a lot of the patterns of our way of thinking. You know, like if a young child is brought up in a loving environment, they look upon the world quite openly and friendly. But they grow up in an environment which is not very friendly. If they're neglected by the parents or something, you know, or even an abusive family relationship, then look upon the world very suspiciously. And that's before they even have a self. Just physical, you know, just the physical and emotional reactions, you see. Before they even think of me, you know, little Joey or somebody, you know. So but that's already the imprint, that's already the basis of a lot of our emotions. Our whole basically we look at a way of life, you see. But it happened before we even could do anything about it. Before we even had a sense of self to be able to control it or filter it to some degree. You can say, well, you know, when you're a bit older, you can maybe say, maybe you're still helpless as a child. Say you're 10 years old or something, but you can say, oh, well, that person is negative, but that person is friendly. So the whole world isn't bad, only that person is, you see. When you're a little child, you can't even filter that out. You know? So you're already programmed to a certain degree, and so even before you have yourself to say, oh, I'm a bad guy. You weren't bad. Just the environment you grew up in was bad. And then it imprinted you that way, you see. So.
What about environment now that I'm in?
Yeah.
It's very good, but why I'm sick and good?
Yeah, because of the initial imprint, you see. You know, when you're a very, very young child. That's imprint, that's the first level, you see. And then from there you build up your personality on top of that. See? And sometimes it gets triggered off. Yeah. From the environment now, you see.
Yeah, I heard that when I got upset at Oli and I got upset at both of them, like them and Oli. So they were into the room and they gossiping, and I heard what they're talking. And Oli like, Daddy, why mommy always upset? And I said, she upset at me too. So no, now she upset me more. And they both like, now she's, you know, and then they said, because mommy been raised like that, her dad is always angry and smack.
Oh.
She like that.
Oh.
And I heard, I heard you before. Talk to you later.
Oh, yes.
It's true, I think, because my dad very, he's about my mom and everything. So he very easily smack us.
Yep.
So for me, I easily smack Oli. But
Oh.
I don't want to be like that.
Yeah.
I will smack if he's very, very bad.
Yeah.
I stopped smacking him long time when he
Because he's too big now.
I heard
Yeah. Or he'll smack you now. Yeah.
But I could do a lot, but I stopped. But sometimes I over angry.
Yeah. That's what I say about these people. You have a lot of early unprocessed aversion, anger. You know, it's unprocessed. So it still is there in the background, you see. So even though you can put on top and say, oh, I'm really calm and I'm a Buddhist and I go to meditate and all that, but still the root is still there, you see. It's like somebody just going in their garden and just clipping off the weeds, you see. You take off the top part, but the root is still there. So after a little while it comes back again, you see. So that's why the Buddha talked about, you know, find the cause, go back to the cause, the root cause. To find out the cause of suffering. There's dukkha, there's samudaya. It arises from something. The dukkha isn't really the issue most of the time. All the suffering is just a little flashing red light saying, "Oh, there's something there. You've got some unfinished business here." But you got to use that flashing red light to find out what the real cause is, what's behind it. That's what it takes. Developing the mind stronger, because obviously your mind at this time cannot find it. Like I say, your ego wants to cover it over because that part of yourself is not very beautiful. You see, so you just smile. You say, "How's everything?" "Fine, fine, fine." And then when they say fine, 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 it's not fine. You're fooling yourself. So it means more useful to be honest.
That's why I said I can say I accept for it. That I'm.
Yeah, but I make a distinction between accepting and being receptive to. You see. See, accepting it is like taking a photograph. I'm a bad person. But being receptive to it is like a mirror, you see. Reflects you. So look at yourself momentarily. See, where's that moment when the smile becomes, Yeah. Watch that. What triggers that off? Yeah. But then you just take a photograph of yourself when you're smiling, and that's the way I am. Smile, smile, smile. But if you have a mirror there sometimes in your room, when you're angry, you come into your room and then you look at the mirror. Oh, ooh, that's how I really am. I can't just smile it away anymore. That's how I really am. So being receptive to means to receive it. Receive that, and at a deeper level too, with more clarity, more honesty, more collectedness and calm, and just say, "Yeah, this is not me. This is just processes that happened." And you can't even say when. Like many therapists, they want to know, what was your mother like or your father like? It doesn't really matter. You have to get in contact with that emotion itself, what it was like then. It doesn't matter who did it to you or whatever, or what trauma it was, but it's the dynamics that's involved in it. That's most important. So you have to get down to a really, you can say a level of sensing it physically, physical sensation, and the very, very basic feeling of it. And many of the times the feeling is just, it's hard to say, just very unpleasant. But we have this collectedness of mind, the calmness, and we have the Buddha watching over us.
Luckily, anger come quick and go quick.
Yeah,
I forgot I got angry and then I forgot I got angry.
Yeah.
Just keep forgetting.
Yeah.
It come go.
Yeah.
Even that shot, I want to fix it.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's too bad.
Yeah. So you got to be a little bit more quick with your mindfulness. Catch it quicker.
So I can even feel the energy coming up.
Yeah.
James, coming up.
Yeah.
I know I can feel it.
Yeah.
Feel it. But I can't. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can stop. Most of the time I can't.
Yeah.
Especially with him because
Yeah.
he's my husband.
Yeah.
I expect a lot. But anyway, it's not excuse. I have to do more.
Yeah. Look at that when the energy is coming up. Look where is it going? What's it doing? And yeah. Yeah.
Just say one word. Done.
Yeah. Maybe you have to then go for a walk. Go to the meditation room. Do some meditation.
He still come. Are you okay? Go away. He run quickly.
Okay.
But still, it's like
Yeah.
next process.
Yep.
I can't just, I'm okay. I can't do that. I have to.
Yeah. But if you keep observing that, maybe you see what's the final trigger, where it really comes from, what the real source is,
It depends. I know sometimes I'm so overtired.
Yeah.
Quickly,
Then that's really Gotta be really careful when you're tired, because that's the time when you have less control over
Yeah.
situations, you know.
That's why I tell him, I'm tired today, okay? You guys be mindful.
Yeah.
Be mindful.
Yeah.
Say body, when you're really tired, you got to
Yep.
be
Yeah.
mindful
Me.
today, okay? Okay, mommy. Everyone like away from me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Be warned. Be warned.
I
Yeah.
want, I keep
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
warning.
Yeah.
I don't know, one more, this is kind of an overarching question, I guess, but you know, is the goal here to look at these kind of temporal emotional states and find their cause over the long term? I know as we go about our life, that's probably what we do, but if we were to see the nature of like the three characteristics directly just through observing other phenomena, would that be a way to get around not having to do
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. If the collectedness and the clarity is strong enough, you can go right through it, you know, and then it sort of clears the slate, as it were, you know. For most people, they haven't got that. I mean, they're trying to calm their mind, and then they get these hindrances come in. You see, they keep distracting them. So the kind of, you know, you say the gradual path is, you know, you work with those hindrances to clear those out of the way, so the energy is more focused and more clear. You know, if you're trying to be, you know, more clear and clear-minded, and then all these irritations come in, just like in a noisy place. Sure, you can meditate, yes, but you know, you haven't got the intensity of focus or the clarity, you know. So then you can't really see the way things really are, impermanent, unsatisfactory, not self. Your mind isn't strong enough to see those, but they're there all the time. You see. Yeah. Sometimes we just have to clear the deck. One of the monks said, "You got to clear the monkeys off the ship first, you know, before you can sail it, you know." Clear all the monkey mind off the things, off it first, you know. So, but ideally, though, I mean, you can, you know, you can just try to focus on those themes too. It's all impermanent. It's all impermanent. You know, it's all not self. It's not really you. You know, and sometimes it does make sense. It does sort of become clear sometimes. But then maybe you're back again to the old monkey mind again. You know.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to think again.
Hmm?
It's very hard to think, not to think that it's me.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not
Because I mean, because thinking is you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't separate them yet.
Yeah.
I feel, yes, body and mind are, I know I do not very well with this for so long, but me.
Mm-hmm.
I understand what Luang say, but it's
Yeah.
not from my panya yet.
Yep.
I understand it's sanya, but not from my
Yes. Yeah.
panya.
Yeah.
I
Like next time I talk about sanya, you know, the 5 groups of grasping. So we can try to put a template on our us. This is just actually body, feeling, sanya, you know, perception, memory, sankharas, vinyan. Just those 5 groups of grasping. There's 5 groups, you see. That's what's really here. But then I comes into it, and that's extra. See? But we're coming from the other point of view. We're coming from I first, and then go back to the basics. Back to the basics. Try to just see that, observe feeling rather than my feeling, rather than my memory, rather than my thoughts, you know.
I understand that, but I still can't
Yes, yeah,
my-
sure.
yeah.
Yes,
Still,
yeah,
I could lie and say, yeah, I know, but it's not.
Yeah.
I can't separate it yet.
yeah. You know intellectually, theoretically, yeah, but
Yeah,
can't
but
see
not, Not from my real panya.
Yeah.
Not.
that's why, you know, in the development of mindfulness, you know, that's one of the more advanced levels, you see, being aware of the 5 groups of grasping. You know, first body, then feelings and states of mind, and then the dhammas, you see. So it takes quite a bit of strongly developed mindfulness to be able to see that. But sometimes it can happen, you know. I remember once I was up in a forest monastery way up in the mountains in Chiang Mai, you know, and I was just I was trying to meditate there, but I was kind of nodding off, and I thought, what am I doing here? Oh yeah, trying to contemplate the 5 groups of grasping, right? Okay, so I went through them in my mind, body, feelings, states, sankharas, sanya, sankhara, vinyana. I went through them again and again and again, and just kept going through them intellectually, thinking about them, trying to sense them, and then one day it just kind of, it's just the 5 groups of grasping. Just for a moment, nobody here, just thinking about it, you see, because it was in my mind, and it's like you're directing the mind, focusing your mind, just like on there it says that we're developing energy, developing effort, focus the mind, you prepare the mind for it, focus the mind on it, keep it in your mind, keep it as the main theme of your reflection, rather than always have your main theme as me. See? Most people, it's the world we live in always keeps going back to I, right? Oh, I have to go to work. Oh, I have to cook supper. I have to do, I. Rather than say, this body has to cook supper. Okay, Sanya has to remember that, It's always I. But this bringing up the 5 groups again, it's just, body, feelings, perception, and mental activity, consciousness, again and again and again. And as soon as I comes up, no, that's just Sanya. That's just feeling. But then if somebody, how are you feeling? It's just a feeling. Feeling is like this.
Only people think I'm crazy.
Yes, yeah.
I talk about my sister, she passed away, she died and stuff. So I talk about that with my friend long time. And I said, life is short, everyone can die anytime. I can die anytime too. He called the police. He said, "Did we gonna commit suicide?" And then after 5 minutes, police came to my house. 5 of them. I said, "Why are you here?" I said, they locked me. He said, "I want to go to the bathroom. You have to go to the police station." I said, "Why? You're gonna commit suicide." I said, "Who told you?" I said, "Your friend." And then got a message. I told my friend, life short, anyone can die. He already said, "Oh, she's gonna commit suicide because her sister died." They locked me. Go to the side course in. Talk to the doctor in hospital, psychologist.
Oh, yeah.
And then I sit down and actually I teach her Buddhist and she's like, "Oh, you fine, you can go home now." I'm just teaching him about Buddhist and life short. And I said, "Yeah, if you commit suicide, call police on me." Because he,
Yes, yeah. You got to be careful who you talk to. Yes, yeah.
So I have to go to with ambulance and pay $300. I said, they're already crazy. If I say, not me, energy doing it, probably they like.
Yes.
Maybe you can go.
Yeah. Okay. Careful who you talk to.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Your body's leaving anyway.
Body energy living.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not going to be here next week. We're not going to be here.
You're not.
We rely on next week.